This is CBN NewsWatch.
And thank you so much for joining us this Friday, February 19th, 2021. I'm Ephraim Graham. Ahead today, a winter storm's lingering effects creating hardship for many. This morning, we have a look at how the winter weather is impacting Texas. The United States inching towards the Iran nuclear deal, how Israeli leaders are responding. Calls to change higher education. Are Americans losing faith in these institutions? And a search for rocks, what NASA scientists hope this latest landing on Mars could tell us about outer space. All those stories and more are ahead in today's edition of CBN NewsWatch. We want to begin getting right to our top story. Americans in Texas are waking up to another day of frigid temperatures. Some 13 million now face a water crisis and must boil water to drink. CBN's Ben Kennedy shares some good news as the power is slowly returning things to normal.
The winter weather is being blamed for the deaths of more than 3 dozen people. Utility officials say limited rolling blackouts could still occur as this snow and cold temps will stick around for the weekend. Hospitals around the Lone Star State are relying on generators to keep the lights on. President Joe Biden says the federal government is standing by to help and declared states of emergency in Texas, Oklahoma, and other states being impacted by the winter weather. Texas Governor Greg Abbott says they aren't out of the woods yet and have already begun to make sure this doesn't happen again.
And that starts with reforming the agency in charge of electric reliability in Texas.
The weather also led to a political problem for Senator Ted Cruz, who came back to the U.S. after he was caught on camera leaving for Cancun, Mexico with his family, a trip he now calls a mistake, saying his daughters asked to go on a trip with friends and he went with them because he wanted to be a good dad.
I certainly regret that this has become a distraction at a time when so many Texans are hurting and frustrated.
In addition to the power outages, some 13 million Texans, about half of the state's population, also lack clean water. State authorities ordered 7 million people to boil tap water before drinking it because the record cold weather damaged infrastructure and pipes.
We're running dangerously low on water.
CBN's Operation Blessing is on the ground to meet that need. Crews unloaded cases of supplies in Dallas and Cleveland, Texas, including water, blankets, hand sanitizers, and more. Ben Kennedy, CBN News.
The Biden administration says it is ready to hold talks with Iran and other world powers to discuss Tehran's nuclear program. This comes after President Joe Biden spoke with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu earlier this week. Joining us now to talk more about this development is Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell. So, Chris, how are Israeli leaders reacting to the strong likelihood the U.S. will rejoin the Iran nuclear deal?
Well, Ephraim, just about an hour ago, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu just issued this statement. He said Israel remains committed to preventing Iran from getting nuclear weapons, and its position on the nuclear agreement has not changed. Israel believes that going back to the old agreement will pave Iran's path to a nuclear arsenal. Israel is in close contact with the United States on this matter. But Ephraim, right now, yesterday I talked to the former ambassador to the UN, Danny Danone, and he's very, very concerned about what may happen if the U.S. goes back into the Iranian nuclear deal. They think it's going to be just to pave the way for a nuclear weapon. And one issue, they will say they will respond militarily if they have to.
Chris, the world leaders also discussed containing the coronavirus. What information can you share about Israel's plan?
Well, first of all, Ephraim, as we've talked about before, they have a massive vaccination plan. They just celebrated the 4 millionth Israeli to get at least one of the vaccination shots. They're almost at 3 million that have had it twice. And right now they're trying to convince those who are reluctant to get the vaccination. Some say they're trying to coerce them. This Sunday, they're going to allow vaccinated people access to places like a hotel, a gym, a swimming pool, but not allow those who are not vaccinated. And right now, it's a debate and a dilemma here for what's going to happen. It's controversial. Some say that the government is trying to coerce them, take away their freedom of movement. And I think that's a debate here in Israel and many other countries that they'll be facing.
Well, Chris, it was a winter wonderland in Israel this week. Any chance the snow is going to stick around through the weekend?
Well, if you look outside the Bureau here right now, it was a winterland about 48 hours ago, but right now there's just green grass. The snow is gone. But for a moment, parents and kids loved the winter wonderland and the fact that they could sort of forget about what the lockdowns are, the coronavirus pandemic. It was a nice respite for what happened here in Jerusalem.
Less than 30 seconds, but can you let us know what's ahead on Jerusalem Dateline?
Well, we're going to have great video about the snow. We're going to have that interview with Ambassador Danon. We have an excerpt from CBN Documentary's new film about written in stone King David, and much, much more. More about the BDS as well on this week's Jerusalem Dateline, Ephraim.
Looking forward to that. And you at home, you can watch the Jerusalem Dateline show this evening at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. You can find that on this channel and on the CBN News Channel. The pandemic also impacting higher education in the United States with the shift from physical classroom meetings to often off-campus altogether. Some are saying it is another reason to fundamentally change universities. Heather Sells explains.
American universities have come to a crossroads, decades in the making and accelerated by COVID-19. Students struggling with family finances and turned off by online learning are opting out, and colleges are hemorrhaging.
The prospect for the next few years is that we're going to see a culling of universities, a reduction in the number of them. It's estimated that as many as 20% will be gone within the decade.
Dr. Peter Wood heads the National Association of Scholars. His group works to reform higher ed. And Wood sees dramatic reorganization coming. This fall, undergraduate enrollment fell by close to 4%, including a 10% drop at public two-year colleges. The heart of the matter could be a number of Americans losing faith in these institutions that have gutted traditional content, like classes on Western civilization.
Many universities, most had this mentality that we are here to advance the health and flourishing of American democracy, the United States of America.
The chief academic officer of Regent University, Dr. Gerson Moreno-Riano, is one of a growing number of scholars who worry that public institutions in particular have lost their way.
What has replaced those courses at these elite institutions are what I would call are courses that focus on myopic visions of oppression, right? So you have courses on queering God, courses on how to start a revolution, how to overthrow the state.
Wood says the content has gradually shifted from critiquing American institutions to a wholesale rejection of them.
That's a revolutionary doctrine. It's one that you can understand why some people are drawn to. There's excitement in tearing things down.
Alongside promoting these revolutionary ideas comes stiff resistance and often outright rejection to opposing viewpoints. Students say they feel it. In a survey of 20,000, only 1 in 4 felt very comfortable talking with classmates about controversial politics like abortion, race, Israel, and gun control. And faculty are well aware that politically incorrect moves can cost them. Just last fall, the University of Southern California suspended a business professor who, while teaching online, explained a Chinese business word that mimics a racial slur in the U.S. Scott Shepard of the National Center for Public Policy Research says these types of incidents chill free speech and worse.
We've got universities that will not hire conservatives, that conservatives who are on staff and have tenure are denied the right to academic freedom that the left has.
He and a growing number of conservatives have been working for years to reform higher ed. One plan, state laws that promote intellectual diversity. South Dakota requires campuses to publish reports explaining any actions to encourage it. A more radical plan, taking their money away.
What would it look like to defund universities? Advocates say it could start immediately with putting a stop to alumni giving and tuition payments.
Federal and state funding could also be reassessed.
The majority of public institutions, if not all, receive probably a third of their support from public monies, tax monies, from the very citizens who are part of the very society that some of these institutions or faculty institutions want to eliminate. So I argue that if that is the case, then we should pull funding, public funding from those institutions.
And that comes with higher ed already on shaky financial ground.
With that kind of financial pressure on their bottom lines, I think colleges and universities may well get around to thinking about whether their business model actually works.
That could pave the way for universities to rethink curriculum while creating the best environments for students to truly learn from a variety of viewpoints. Heather Sells, CBN News.
Coming up, a cleaning frenzy is your effort to get rid of germs causing more harm than good. We'll have that story for you when we come back. You're watching CBN NewsWatch.
When I came to Regent University, it's like the world opened up. I felt like I needed to advance my career and go back to school. Regent was a perfect fit for me. The Regent professors are world class. You are equipped. The focus of the faculty is on each individual student, whether it's online or in person. You become a part of Regent's family. You carry with you not just the content and the knowledge, but the confidence to understand that we can be significant in the world.
Regent University. Follow your path.
Nigerian Christians in
Iran are routinely arrested.
Nepali Christians continue to suffer.
In times of trial and affliction, you need to know the truth.
One of the fastest growing Christian populations in the world.
Join Wendy Griffith and George Thomas for Christian World News.
Young people are the ones who are open to the gospel.
Powerful stories of suffering and hope that affect all Christians. Watch Christian World News, Saturday at 5 p.m. Get Protect Your Sleep and discover how to improve the quality of your life. A free DVD or booklet from the Christian Broadcasting Network.
If you're not a great sleeper, you can do things to make yourself a great sleeper. If you're already a pretty good sleeper, you can enhance your sleep and be even better.
5 leading experts help remove the obstacles between you and restorative sleep.
When you don't get a restful night's sleep, you wake up with an accumulation of stress.
Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to CBN.com to get your free DVD or booklet today.
Everything you do better with a good night's sleep.
You'll discover how food affects your sleep, how to put insomnia to rest, explore effective remedies for sleep apnea, and much more in Protect Your Sleep. Wake up to your best life and get Protect Your Sleep today. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to CBN.com to get your free DVD or booklet.
Here's the question to consider. Is there such a thing as too clean? Exposure to some germs builds strong immune systems. So with COVID-19, are people going too far in sanitizing every surface? Medical reporter Lori Johnson has the answer.
When New York City shut down the subways 4 hours each day for disinfecting, some scientists declared it a colossal waste of time and money.
It looks a bit to me like a cleaning theatre. To make people feel more comfortable about using those environments, bleaching the surfaces will have very, very little impact upon the spread of the disease.
That's because it's mainly spread through personal contact. Dr. Jack Gilbert, author of the book Dirt is Good, adds that sanitized surfaces don't stay that way for long.
If you sterilize a surface, in a few minutes after sterilization, the microbes from our body are recolonizing that surface.
During this pandemic, welcoming some of the germs living all around us may seem scary, but it's generally better than trying to kill them all.
The negative consequences of bleaching the environment, especially if you have very young children in the environment, could actually lead to chronic consequences, which may be worse.
Gilbert says the good bugs we encounter, especially as youngsters, can help prevent food allergies, skin problems like eczema, and even issues associated with autism.
Those experiences that the children are getting shape how their immune system develops, and that can shape how our brains develop.
Think about all the germs surrounding barnyard animals or even just household pets. Turns out those bugs are pretty healthy.
Asthma strikes about 1 in 10 Americans. Children who grow up with a dog, however, are 13% less likely to develop this serious lung disease. Kids on farms do even better, enjoying a 50% reduction.
Keeping clean is good, but there is probably such a thing as too clean.
Mayo Clinic researcher Dr. Heidi Nelson says exposure to certain microorganisms can help fight disease.
We all grew up playing in dirt, and it didn't hurt us, you know, and it probably kept us healthy and having a strong immune system.
In his book, Eat Dirt, Dr. Josh Axe goes further, writing that a preoccupation with disinfecting everything in sight puts us at risk for chronic illnesses.
What a lot of people don't realize is by using excessive sanitizers and bleaches, they're actually weakening their immune system.
He says some cleansers contain harsh chemicals that can harm the skin and gut and recommends a more natural approach.
If we use things like essential oils that are referenced in the Bible, we're not going to have those same side effects, yet it's still going to help sanitize us and keep us healthy.
He points to gentle cleansers that kill bad germs while still allowing our immune system to flourish, and recommends other natural COVID-fighting strategies.
I recommend getting zinc around 30 milligrams a day, vitamin D at 5,000 IUs a day, and vitamin C at 1,000 milligrams a day. I really like echinacea because of how it strengthens the lungs, elderberry because of how it fights viruses, and astragalus for its immune-boosting properties.
So while health experts push washing hands and surfaces often with plain old soap and water, they warn that super sanitizing with antibacterial soap or bleach may literally be overkill. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
That was Lori Johnson reporting. When we come back, we're breaking down the top sports stories of the week. Stay with us.
Are you suffering from feeling tired or worn out during the day? Can you not turn off your brain at night? You are not alone. Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Bruce, the sleep doctor, and I've partnered with the Christian Broadcasting Network, and we're going to bring you some unbelievable information that you can use tonight to get a better night's rest.
Wake up to your best life. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com to get your free copy of Protect Your Sleep today.
Nutrition, exercise, essential oils, weight loss, and more. It's Healthy Living with Lori Johnson.
Talk about what's in this.
Join CBN health reporter Lori Johnson to get the latest information from today's top health experts.
This is fantastic.
Find out what you need to know to live a healthier life. Watch Healthy Living, Tuesday night at 9:30.
Woohoo! Hi, Superbook fans. Here's something else you'll love. It's the new Superbook Bible app. It's packed with games, activities, and Superbook episodes that you can watch for free. Oh, no! There's trivia, a fun daily devotional, and answers to your Bible questions. Plus, an easy-to-understand Bible the whole family will enjoy. You can even create your own Superbook character. Ta-da! Whoa!
Millsburg Falls man.
Sorry, pardon me. Sorry, excuse me. Ouch!
Are you getting this?
Earn super points to win daily prizes, too. And so much more! Time to get back to my adventures. See you soon! It's the new Superbook Bible app. Free downloads on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon.
So much going on in the world of sports this week, from Tim Tebow announcing his retirement to Serena Williams walking out of a news conference. CBN Sports Director Sean Brown is here now to break it all down for us. So Tim Tebow is leaving baseball. Any insight into the reason for his decision and what he's going to do next?
Hey, good morning, Ephraim. Well, you know, for anyone who knows Tim Tebow, his life is more than just sport. He has a life outside of sports. Sports have just provided a platform for him to really share his faith, and that's really what's been driving his life. And so now, after being in the minors for 5 years, gradually moving his way up from all the way up to AAA, with hints of the possibility of moving it to the majors at 33 years old, a newlywed. You get to a place where you start trying to figure out, all right, what's really important here? What am I playing for? And as he said, hey, he doesn't want to do anything halfway. And so clearly he's thinking about things and saying, look, I don't know that I want to pursue this avenue. I'm being called to other things. And so his priorities are in order. And he's saying, look, it's time for me to go ahead and hang up my baseball cleats and pursue what God has called me to do off the field. And so that's what this is about.
All right, we'll be watching to see what else happens. So let's turn to tennis star Serena Williams. She waved to fans after losing in the Australian Open. Does it mean goodbye?
You know what? I'm not going to say that. However, there comes a point in every athlete's life, right around 33, right around 35, where they start questioning, all right, can my body continue to do this, to perform at a high level? Can I continue to play at this level? When you've got, the likes of Naomi Osaka, Coco Gauff coming up the ranks, and you're playing, and all of a sudden now you're losing, you start asking yourself these questions in your mind. Hey, can I still play at a high level? I still think she can, and she has, Serena. And so when you're at a press conference and people are asking you about retirement, no player wants to talk about retirement before they're ready. And so when you start asking these questions and you just lost a major Grand Slam, yes, you're going to be emotional. Yes, you're going to say, you know what, I can't take this, talking about this right now. I'm still dealing with the fact that, one, I lost, and two, is it really time for me to go when I know I still have a lot left to give? And that's what that was about.
All right, Sean Brown, thank you so much. Serena Williams, stay in there. We still like to watch you. You got it. You got it. Much appreciated. Coming up, out of this world celebrations, why a search for rocks could answer some big questions. We'll be right back.
Sex before you marry is a bad idea. Don't tell me there's no such thing as gun violence.
That just depends on your definition of when life begins.
Watch Dan and Dale tackle trending topics that test your faith on the next Faith Wire, Monday night at 9:30. The Global Lane takes you around the world, providing facts over fiction.
What might rising trade and geopolitical tensions mean for you on the home front?
With over 45 years of experience, award-winning journalist Gary Lane brings you the truth from a global angle.
What about the issue of immigration?
World news analysis you won't see anywhere else.
And it's all right here on the Global Lane.
Watch the Global Lane, Thursday night at 9:30.
American scientists celebrating a big win this week. NASA made its first landing on Mars in nearly a decade. CBN national security correspondent Eric Phillips explains how this success is a big win for space exploration.
The last rover, Curiosity, landed on Mars back in 2013. Its goal to look for signs of water, which scientists say it accomplished. This mission will search for signs of past life on Mars in preparation for sending future life to Mars. I spoke with Eric Ianson, director of NASA's Mars Exploration Program, about the importance of perseverance.
Let me start by asking, why is this next step
in the Mars exploration program so significant?
This is a really cool mission. Perseverance is a great mission. What we look to do with each of our missions to Mars is build on things that we've learned in the past. And this one in particular is going to study geology near the landing site, characterize the Martian environment, search for signs of ancient Martian life, and assess natural resources and hazards for potential future missions. In addition, scientists will use instruments aboard this mission to identify and collect samples of rock and soil for potential return back to Earth.
Now, when you say that they're going to be collecting these samples, what's going to happen with the samples?
When they find ones that are really interesting, potentially showing signs of past life on Mars, they conceal them in these size of a chalk container, size of a piece of chalk, and collect multiple samples, deposit them at a particular site on the surface of Mars, and then in the future, they can get brought back to Earth.
What is the most difficult part of landing on Mars?
This is what we call the 7 minutes of terror. During that time, the spacecraft enters the Martian atmosphere and it heats up its protective shell to over 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit as it's entering the atmosphere. It fires thrusters to stay in the correct orientation. It deploys a parachute. It locks on the landing site, fires some more thrusters, and then uses a sky crane to lower the rover down to the surface gently with a sky crane.
With this particular mission, I'm reading that you all may be able to hear some sounds on Mars for the first time. How exciting is that?
It's really cool. So in addition to the 7 science instruments that we actually have 2 microphones that are going to be on board. So we'll be able to hear the sounds that are happening during landing. I'm really fascinated to hear that, as well as the ambient noise that happens on Mars, the wind.
It is exciting and it's extremely interesting. Yeah. But for the average person, why is this important? What difference will it make in our lives?
I think we can learn a lot about our own planet from Mars, because there is a belief that at one time Mars was very similar to Earth, perhaps not have the way we have life and all, but a much more habitable type environment, and things changed there, and it is not that today. So I think that's important to us. I think that children get really excited about, as we all do, about space exploration. And Mars is just a fascinating place because it's not that far away, and it has a lot of similarities to the way Earth was in the past.
I should mention it was a student who came up with the name of this rover, Perseverance, certainly appropriate for these times. NASA's long-term goal is the ability to send human life to Mars by the 2030s. This mission helps with that. One key instrument on board is called MOXIE, which will try to capture Martian atmosphere and convert it to oxygen, making it breathable for humans. Eric Phillips, CBN News.
And we leave you with this word on a Friday. God is calling us all to love. This is a call to serve, a call to sacrifice, a call to obey His command. With that word, I encourage you to make room for love. It's an affirmative answer to the call of God. That is going to do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fabulous Friday and a wonderful weekend. We'll see you right back here Monday.